I'm sorry, hon, but could you say that again? Look, try speaking up a little because I can barely understand you. Uh-huh. Okay, now what was that number? Okay, and that's on Riverside Drive, right? Okay, now let me make sure I got it straight now, okay? You listening? You got a slow leak in the kitchen, and your address is 4740 Riverside Drive, right? Okay then, hon, he'll be there this afternoon. That's right, this afternoon. Okay, yeah, bye-bye now. Whew.
Trixie, it's me. Yeah, what the hell you and Junior doing over there? Yeah, what the hell you and Junior doing over there? I get this call for a slow leak at 4740 Riverside Drive. Yeah, why am I yelling? I'll tell you why I'm yelling, because you two ain't get nothing right, that's why. There ain't no 4740 Riverside Drive. Lucky for me, I tried 4750, all right? Turns out that's the right address. Then I get inside, the lady does not have a slow leak, all right? Like it says on the ticket here. She's got no heat, all right? What the hell are you sending me for? This Sam, okay? You know he's the expert on that. Come on.
Boy, Rocky sure was quick to blame Trixie and Junior when he got some wrong information for that last service call. But I don't know, Trixie may not be the world's best CSR, closer to the worst in fact, and yet she did read the information back to the caller to make sure it was correct. And it certainly did seem like she was having a heck of a time understanding what the caller was saying. What do you think? Has something like that ever happened to you while you were out in the field? Were you ever quick to blame either the CSR who took the call or the dispatcher who assigned it to you? You know, it's natural to look for someone to blame when there's a problem, especially when the problem affects your job in a negative way. After all, you're a professional, and it can be frustrating, embarrassing, and even costly when you're somehow prevented from doing your job to the best of your ability. But I'd like you to take a minute and think. Are all the miscommunications that occur the fault of either the CSR or the dispatcher? And how would you really know who is at fault anyway? Would you ask the customer? Can you be sure they'd give you the right answer? These are pretty tough questions. Therefore, it seems to me that we need to take a closer look. In fact, I have a few suggestions I'd like to share. First, don't jump to conclusions. Sure, it's easy to think the CSR took down the wrong information or the dispatcher forgot to confirm the call, or whatever the case might be. But what sense does that make when you don't have all the facts? The reality is that it doesn't help. It just elevates stress, provokes anger, and increases frustration for everyone. When problems occur, your focus should be on customer service. Instead of looking for someone to blame, you should be concentrating on how you can fix the problem and satisfy the customer. As Stanley Marcus of Neiman Marcus said, remember, the customer isn't always right, but the customer always is the customer.
Dave? Mike to base, you there, Dave? Over.
Hey, Mike, Dave here. What's your 20?
Well, I'm 10-7, but it doesn't look like anyone's home.
That's funny. I just got done speaking to Miss Tuttle a while ago, and I mentioned to her that you were 10-5. Did you check around the back? Over?
Yeah, it's a 10-4 on that, Dave, but there's nobody there either. Yeah, from the outside, it looks like the place is empty. So you sure about the address? I've got 35910 Viewpoint. Over.
10-4. Just hang on a minute here while I call her and double check. Over?
Yeah, I copy that, Dave. Over.
You there, Mike?
You bet. What'd you find out?
Well, I just got off the phone with Miss Tuttle. She's really sorry about the mix-up. Her hearing's not too good, so she didn't catch the mistake when we repeated back the address. So here's the address. It's 35910 View Crest, not Viewpoint. Over?
Okay, that's a 10-4, Dave. I'm going to be there in about another 15 minutes, so you can let her know I'm 1051. Over.
Now, that's a little more like it. As with Mike's shop, everyone in your company is a professional. You, the CSRs, the dispatchers, and as professionals, you each deserve respect. None of your jobs are easy, that's for sure. But there are times when you may be so involved in your own job that you forget just how hard everyone else is working around you. You forget that you're all part of the same team and that each member of that team is dependent on the others to provide the kind of customer service that it takes to be successful in a competitive market. Take CSRs, for example. They're the front line, the first contact potential customers have with your shop. And that's not easy, especially when it's really busy. Do you think every caller speaks perfect English, enunciates properly, and gives a quick and accurate description of their problem? I don't think so. And then there are dispatchers. They've got it pretty easy, right? I mean, all they have to do is decide what calls to schedule, when to schedule them, and which tech to send according to location, skills, and resources. Of course, there are just a few other details to consider, like unexpected emergencies, cancellations, rescheduling, customer complaints, callbacks, and late calls to worry about, right? I think you get the idea. Now, let's consider a few of the reasons mistakes occur. Reasons that have nothing to do with mistakes by CSR or dispatchers. We've already seen poor Trixie struggle with a caller who was difficult to understand. It could have been a speech impediment, poor diction, or even the fact that English was not the caller's primary language. What are some other possibilities? Well, first there are some people, particularly seniors, who may suffer from hearing loss. And while these callers may speak at a normal volume, they don't always catch the errors in the information that is repeated back to them.
Okay, and just to verify what you've told me, Ms. Hamilton, your air conditioning unit is not working, and your address is 5045 Washburn Lane. Is that right?
What was that, dear?
I was just asking if I got your address right.
That's right. So when did you say he can be here?
In other situations, the caller might be in a rush to get off the phone. You know, someone who's late for leaving for work in the middle of completing a task, or simply distracted. When this is the case, the caller may not be fully concentrating on what they're saying or hearing and accidentally provide incorrect information.
So once a technician has seen the problem, he'll be able to quote you an exact price before he does any work.
Johnny, would you please leave Billy alone? I am not going to tell you this anymore today. I am not going to tell you. I mean that. Yes. Yes. Sally, leave the dog alone to stop pulling his ears. Do you want to go to your room? Young lady, do you want to go to your room?
Well, now that I have your address, Mrs. Smith, tell me a little bit about your heating system. How does the heat come out? Is it warm air from vents in the floor or from the baseboard?
In the basement. Now, how much did you say you charge again?
And of course, there are callers who simply ignore instructions because it's inconvenient, or even purposely provide false information, thinking that they can somehow manipulate the scheduling or job cost.
And your home phone number is 555-9436. Is that right? Now, you said there's a leak under your sink?
Oh man, yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It's turning my whole kitchen into a swimming pool. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. You guys got to send somebody down here right away.
Oh my, it sounds like quite a mess. Now, tell me, can you locate the shutoff valves for me? They'll usually be right under the sink near the pipes.
Oh, wow, there's all kinds of stuff under here. I don't know. I can't make any of it out. You know, I'm not too mechanical or anything.
Now, my intent here is not to poke fun at our customers, not at all, but rather to help illustrate the point that miscommunications and mistakes that may affect you out in the field are sometimes due to circumstances beyond the control of your coworkers, no matter how well they handle their jobs. So don't blame the CSRs or dispatcher when problems arise. Instead, work together to get the job done. Well, that's all for this week's topic. I hope you found the presentation interesting and that you'll enjoy this week's exercise.